Hi, everybody. It's Miss Celeste here. I'm your professor for ECE 602. We have made it to part 14, so we are almost towards the end. This is week 4. So again, this is our last week in this course, Child, Family, and Community, ECE 602. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that we are completing, of course, the final assignment that is due by Sunday of week 4. Making sure that you are doing the discussion, which was due Wednesday, and replies that are due Saturday. And then, of course, the practicum that you need to review and have completed within a 3-month due date that I do have listed in Canvas. So just make sure that you spend some time going to Canvas and getting all the details of the assignments and the discussion and the practicum just before this week is over, so I can best set you up for success, okay? All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about the ability to share ECE programs and their benefit. This is a really fun topic because this is something that you as a teacher should or could be talking a lot about as you're sharing different components about your classroom, what you do, why you do it. This can be in parent-teacher conferences. This can be just in parent education nights. Obviously, every school is kind of set up different, but there should be opportunities for you to share your program, share what you do, because this also will help parents get an understanding of what their children are gaining, what they're learning, what they can do at home, the growing change overall that is happening with ECE programs. Also understanding the pros and cons of, say, universal preschool, private school, religious-based schools, Waldorf schools, Montessori schools, etc. So there's so many opportunities for learning, but it's important to best find a program that supports your child's learning. And so that's something that we should be talking a lot about, just to also help parents understand that they're making the right choices in choosing your program specifically, okay? And then another topic we're going to talk about is the growing change, again, the pros and the cons of different preschools, and then just us within the United States, childcare, what that looks like, and how it is going to forever grow, into allowing, I hope, all children to have the opportunity to experience preschool or school before kindergarten, because I really think having this foundation before kindergarten really supports their learning when they do go into kindergarten. So I've seen it, really impact many children. I've seen them grow and learn and change. So I know it works. You have probably seen it work. So let's really be that voice to empower parents to make the choice to put them into school a little bit before kindergarten. So it's important to understand that childcare professionals sometimes can't afford childcare unless it's provided, right, for free. Maybe if it's from your work, or some support elsewhere. Not everybody can afford this extra care for their child. And really on average, the salary really affects that, right? Especially for educators, or you're not doing, this profession to make, millions of dollars, but you're doing it for the passion and love and care that you have for children, and the support that you want to give families. So it's really important to understand the families that you serve, the families who need the care, the society that we're in, especially with those low income families. And there are more low income families than ever before, and it's continuing to grow. So we have to really think about, again, the children, the families that we serve, to best be prepared to help them and guide them and support them, but also understand that the reality is that not all children will get the opportunity to experience early education. Well, on the other hand, some will. So again, depending if you're a kindergarten teacher, grade school teacher, you might have children within your program that it could be the first time. And so I just want to remind you to be mindful of, there might be many reasons of why it's their first time, not necessarily a parent saying, I don't want my child in school, right? But they're also not going to openly sometimes say, well, I didn't put him in school because I simply can't afford it. So just be sensitive to that and support them as best you can, with any family for that matter, because again, you don't know everybody's situations, and they're not going to always be open to sharing. So the growing change that I really want to talk about is the universal preschool. And this is something that is a movement that is gaining a lot of momentum. So advocates want to ensure that every 4-year-old has a chance to attend a free half-day preschool. Though universal preschool looks different in different states, that's the main push behind it, is they really want to allow all children, age of 4 to attend a free half-day preschool program. Some states have already succeeded in making this change and actually are doing it right now. So again, it can look different in different states. And some states are creating a class before kindergarten in the public school system, while others are considering free tuition for 4-year-olds in a variety of settings, which makes me really excited. Still others are targeting low-income families for free education for their 4-year-olds. So again, we still have options to support all families. But I think the bigger goal here is just across the board, allowing all children to have that free education, again, before kindergarten. So it's specifically called pre-K program, preschool. So that is something that has been a super passion of mine, something that I've spoken about in many webinars or school settings, because I think it's important that we allow all families, all children to have the opportunity to experience early education. But unfortunately, like I've mentioned, not all families have the means to do that. So in order to make changes, this is something that we're going to have to together help support. And so I encourage you to have more conversations about universal preschool, read a lot more about it because it's ever changing. Again, not all states have this, so this is just a gradual process. So my hope and my goal is for all states to have this implemented within their programs. But we will get there. And then just some pros and cons about universal preschool. So the pros would be universal preschool is a good idea. Kindergarten is to become first grade. Each child still needs a transitional year. It's good to start children in school early, especially low-income children. Universal preschool is a good idea. All families should enjoy preschool overall and have access to preschool programs. The cons would be universal preschool is not a good idea in some perspectives. The real need is for a full day program that will have both good care and education. So we're talking about quality. But we can provide that, right? So every school can provide quality by supporting teacher education, by supporting, having families help within that environment, volunteers. I mean, there's so many opportunities that we can make it of quality if we just put in that time and make a structured, component within what we're doing first, second, third, and just making a plan together, right? And incorporating a lot more people within that process, or setup, I should say. But we also have to understand that with all the money and attention going into universal pre-K, what our working parents going to do. Universal preschool requires before and after care as well. So it would be better to use the money to upgrade and expand the existing childcare programs. So again, this is from your text. This is figure 13.1. And this is just the pros and cons in regards to universal preschool from different perspectives. But again, I think we definitely should, support, any environment and method that's going to support that child's growth. I think different philosophies should also be included in this. I think we should incorporate the Waldorf, the Montessori, traditional religious-based schools into this category as well. So parents have options. That would be my recommendation to kind of add into this. Because again, all children learn different, so all their needs are different, and different approaches could definitely support their need, say better than the other. So I think that definitely has to play a factor in creating that well-prepared, quality education environment. So again, in regards to the child care here in the United States, we are, again, we all across the board don't have the option of universal preschool just yet. But we are, sometimes willing to pay for education and sometimes have the means to do that. So I do applaud those parents who do have those options, or even trying their best to create that option or have that option for their child, because it can be very, very difficult, for each family individually. But it's also important to remind parents within the program that you're teaching, like I mentioned in the beginning, of why they are making these decisions, why they're important, why they're benefiting their child, and just reminding them often that these choices are good for their child, but really giving, concrete examples, which then for me always came from my observations that I did within the classroom. That's where I would collect my data. That's where I would collect the growth, right? And then that's the information that I would be sharing with parents, because they really need examples to better understand the results and how they're getting from point A to point B. So, I do think education overall is ever growing. I think we're going to continue to grow. I think as long as we're talking about it, it's a conversation, it's at the forefront, it's important, and we keep making an important conversation. I do believe that more options will be available for all children to go to school for free, but it's just something that's not going to happen overnight. It's just a continuing effort that we all have to put in and make sure that we are advocates outside of the classroom as much as we are inside of it. So thank you so much. I've had so much fun, sharing some insights with you. If you have any questions, please reach out. I'm always here to support you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.